close your eyes. Let the world outside this room fade away. Tonight we begin with the gods of ancient Greece. A family so powerful, so dramatic, and so incredibly dysfunctional that even the worst reality television looks like a calm conversation by comparison. Have you ever wondered why the most powerful beings in the universe could not keep their own family together? Why the god of the sky spent more time chasing mortals than ruling the heavens? And why the goddess of marriage was also the goddess of revenge? Before we go any further, take a moment to subscribe and like this video if you enjoy falling asleep to history. Do it only if you truly want more journeys like this one. The choice is yours. Now dim the lights. Turn on a fan if you have one. Let the soft hum fill your ears. And slowly let yourself drift into a world of thunder and temples and gods who really should have gone to therapy. This is the story of the Greek gods explained not as distant marble statues, but as a family you would not want to be seated next to at dinner. And tonight we begin with the king of them all, the one who threw lightning and made terrible decisions in equal measure. Zeus was the youngest son of Cronus and Rhea. His father, the king of the Titans, had a terrible habit. He swallowed each of his children whole. He did this because a prophecy foretold that one of them would one day overthrow him. So Cronus chose the easy path. He ate his problems, but Rhea could not bear to lose another child. When Zeus was born, she wrapped a stone in baby clothes and offered it to Cronus. He swallowed it without a second thought. The king of the Titans was fooled by a rock. Zeus grew up hidden on the island of Crete. He trained. He waited. He grew strong and bitter. And when the time came, he returned to free his siblings. Zeus slipped his father a potion. Cronus vomited up the children he had swallowed. One by one they emerged, fully grown and furious. They joined Zeus in a war against the Titans. The battle shook the foundations of the earth. Thunder cracked across the sky. Mountains crumbled. The world as the gods knew it was being torn apart. When the war ended, Zeus and his siblings stood victorious. The old order was shattered. A new era had begun, and Zeus took his rightful place as king of the gods. But absolute power corrupts absolutely, and Zeus was about to prove that even gods cannot resist the pull of their own desires. The question is, what kind of king would he become? A wise ruler or a tyrant with a lightning bolt? And what would happen to those who crossed him? The answer begins with the goddess who stood beside him and the fury she carried in her heart. Hera was the goddess of marriage and the queen of Olympus. She was also Zeus's wife and his sister. Their wedding was supposed to be the divine ideal of sacred union. Instead, it became a centuries-long nightmare filled with infidelity and revenge. Hera was powerful. She commanded respect from gods and mortals alike. But her power was almost always expressed through fury. Her anger was never directed at Zeus. She could not punish him. He was too powerful, too unpredictable, and too essential to the cosmic order. Instead, Hera turned her rage toward the women Zeus seduced and the children he fathered. She pursued them with a relentless cruelty that shocked even the other gods. She transformed one innocent woman into a cow. She cursed another to speak only in echoes. She once sent serpents to kill a baby in his crib because his father had strayed. But can you truly blame her? Imagine being the goddess of marriage while your husband spends his days inventing new ways to betray you. Zeus became a swan. He became a bull. He became a golden mist. He had no boundaries, no shame, no respect for the vows they shared. Hera was trapped. She could not leave. She could not fight back. She could only punish. And so Hera became the goddess of vengeance. Not because she was evil, because she was broken. Her fury was not madness. It was the only weapon she had left, and she wielded it with terrifying precision. But even a queen can only endure so much before something inside her shatters. And when it did, Olympus itself would feel the cracks spreading. Poseidon was the god of the sea. He ruled the waves with a trident that could shatter mountains. He was the middle brother, not the king, not the ruler of the underworld, just the god of everything wet. And that was never quite enough for him. Poseidon craved respect. He demanded worship, and he punished anyone who failed to give it. He was proud. He was unpredictable. and he was always watching. One day, he lost a contest to Athena. The city of Athens chose her olive tree over his saltwater spring. He was furious. He struck the ground with his trident and flooded the entire region, all because he lost a popularity contest. Poseidon could not let go of slight. He held grudges for centuries. He remembered every insult, every forgotten offering, every prayer sent to another god. But Poseidon was more than just rage. He was also a god of fertility and prosperity. He blessed sailors with safe voyages. He created islands from the depths of the ocean. He was generous to those who honored him. Yet even his gifts came with a warning. One wrong word, and his generosity could turn to wrath in an instant. And then there were his desires. He pursued nymphs and mortals with the same intensity he brought to the battlefield. He did not ask for permission. He took what he wanted, and he left a trail of broken lives behind him. The sea god was not a villain. He was a force of nature. And like the ocean, he could be calm or destructive. You never knew which version of him you would face when you looked into his eyes. Hades was the god of the underworld. He ruled the realm of the dead with quiet authority. While Zeus commanded the skies and Poseidon ruled the seas, Hades drew the shortest straw. He was stuck managing the eternal resting place of every soul that ever lived. He did not complain. He did not rebel. He simply did his job. Hades was not evil. He was not cruel. He was just tired. Imagine overseeing the dead for eternity. The wailing, the darkness, the endless line of souls who did not want to be there. He did not ask for glory. He did not demand worship. He just wanted to be left alone. And that made him dangerous. Mortals feared him. They whispered his name in secret. They refused to build temples in his honor because they were terrified of attracting his attention. He did not care. He had no interest in their prayers. He had no interest in their offerings. He had his realm. He had his rules. And he had a secret. His throne was not his greatest possession. His greatest possession was a girl he had taken from the world above. A girl who did not come willingly. A girl whose mother was the goddess of the harvest. And when that mother discovered what had happened, the earth itself would begin to wither. The dead would not be the only ones who suffered. Athena was the goddess of wisdom and war strategy. She was also the daughter of Zeus. But her birth was unlike any other. Zeus had swallowed her mother Métis while she was pregnant. He did this because a prophecy warned that Métis would bear a child greater than him. So he consumed her. He thought that would end the threat. He was wrong. Months later, Zeus developed a splitting headache. It was unbearable. He begged for relief. One of the gods struck his skull with an axe. And from the wound burst Athena. She emerged fully grown, fully armored, and completely unimpressed with the world around her. She was the goddess of logic in a family of chaos. She did not scheme. She did not rage. She simply outsmarted everyone. Athena stayed away from romance. She had no lovers. She had no children. She had no desire for the messy entanglements that consumed the rest of her family. She was above it all, but her detachment came with a coldness. She did not forgive mistakes. She did not tolerate weakness. She punished those who challenged her with a severity that shocked even the gods. One mortal woman dared to compete with Athena in a weaving contest. She won, and Athena turned her into a spider. The goddess of wisdom did not appreciate being outdone. Her brilliance was her greatest weapon, and she used it without mercy. This was the family that ruled the world. Zeus the king who could not control himself. Hera the queen who turned her pain into punishment. Poseidon the sea god who drowned cities over insults. Hades the quiet ruler who took what he wanted without asking. And Athena the brilliant strategist who crushed anyone who challenged her. They were not heroes. They were not villains. They were something far more complicated. They were gods, and they were broken. Each of them carried wounds that never healed. Each of them had been betrayed or abandoned or humiliated, and each of them responded in the only way they knew how. They lashed out. They took revenge. They destroyed anyone who reminded them of their pain. The mortals who worshipped them did not understand. They prayed to these gods for protection and guidance. They did not realize that the gods could barely protect themselves from their own family. The stories of Olympus are not tales of triumph. They are warnings. They remind us that power does not heal. It corrupts. That love does not always conquer. It wounds. That even the most brilliant minds can be blinded by pride. The Greek gods were not perfect. They were not wise. They were not just. They were simply powerful. And that was their curse. They had everything except the one thing they truly needed: peace. And they never found it.